everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa if you are new here. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 books that I have on my Catholic bookshelf. Now this is a part of a series of my Catholic bookshelf. So I have shown you guys previously 5 other books. So if you missed that video and you want to know those 5 books, please check out the description. I'll have it linked down below. Anyways, without further ado, I have some 5 books. That's proper English. I have 5 books to share with you guys. So the first book that I have is one that I have had for many years. And it's kind of funny because I remember the day that I purchased this book. I was in Las Vegas, and I think I even mentioned it when I first shared this book with you guys, that I had bought this book at a thrift store in Las Vegas. That's typically where I get a lot of my books at, but I bought this at a thrift store in Las Vegas, and I basically read it from cover to cover on this trip. And now I live in Las Vegas, so it's kind of funny how I bought it in Vegas, took it to LA for like 5 years, and now it's back in Vegas. But it's called The Case for Jesus by Brant Petrie, and I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. It's biblical and historical evidence for Christ. And so this book highly focuses on the synoptic gospels. It talks about who wrote each gospel, and it's so funny because in my previous video I showed you guys some books by Pope Benedict XVI, because I was taking a class about the synoptic gospels, and one of the first things that we had to discuss was whether or not we believe that Matthew or Mark was written first, and we had to basically give our reason as to why. And so I actually had an opposing view from my other classmates, and I used this book as reason to have the opposing view. It's not too hard to read, but it's not easy. It's not easy whatsoever. It's easy to read. He's not using large words, but the ideas and the concepts may go over your head just because he discusses things that an average like Bible reading Christian may not come across or may not consider. So although this book is easy in its like language, it has complex topics, so it's not necessarily like a read that you're gonna be like, oh, leisurely read, let me just lay back. It's like I need to relax. It's a little bit of a study book, but it's a really good one to add to your bookshelf. The next book I have for you guys was actually a book that I used in one of my college courses. This was like a required textbook. It's not a textbook whatsoever, but it was a textbook for the course. It's called What is Sacred Theology, and this is by Joseph Clifford Fenton. So this book focuses heavily on moral theology and philosophy, the writings of Thomas Aquinas, and so this book was really helpful in my studies because I will admit, moral theology, not necessarily my strong place. Dogmatic theology, I got it. Moral theology, I struggle. I don't know why. It's broken up into like great ways. Like each like chapter is like broken up into like smaller little like chapters, I would say. It talks about ecumenical councils, and it talks about like divine apostolic tradition. It talks about many different topics. So this is one of these books that you will get once and you will go, why have I never had this? This is just so comprehensive. It's so full of information. It seems like almost like now I have this book, I need no books, basically type of book. But this book is a great branching off point. It doesn't dive into each topic too much. It's kind of not surface level, but it's kind of like giving you like an intro to it so that you can dive into these concepts a little bit more if that is where your heart wants to go. But one of my favorite books that I added to my bookshelf. The next book I have for you guys, I have 2 Brant Petrie books in one video. I don't think I anticipated this, but it's called Jesus and the Jewish Roots of the Eucharist. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, this book I have not read cover to cover. I just haven't had the opportunity to sit down and read it, but I have used it in a lot of my studies for my college courses, and then also for like my own personal like YouTube studies. As you can see, I tagged it. I really enjoy books like this because I was so guilty of reading the Bible being so focused on the New Testament and understanding the teachings of the New Testament. But it's very hard to understand the teachings of the New Testament or the language of the New Testament without ever knowing the Old Testament stories or reading the Old Testament or understanding where Christ came from or understanding where his initial followers came from. Because when Christ is preaching to us, we're Christians. We take it Like, we're like, bring it, give it to us. Christianity, give it. That's all I know. I've never been challenged on it, or not really. Christianity, give it to me. But these people were being taught new things. They were being taught hard sayings. And so we may not understand what was their context. Like, so when Jesus Christ emphasizes certain things or uses certain terminology or uses certain things to explain to his new followers or the people in opposition to him, there's a reason behind it. And the way that we can know there's reasoning is by understanding the context. So this book highlights the Jewish roots of the Eucharist, unlocking the secrets of the Last Supper, why certain things occurred, why certain things were said, why certain things were emphasized, hard sayings. So this book is great. I highly suggest picking it up for your Catholic bookshelf. The next book that I have is Theology and Sanity. It's by Frank Sheed, and this is published by Ignatius Press. So this book is kind of similar to What is Sacred Theology, where it breaks down the beliefs of the church in a way that is not super simple, but a lot clearer than other writers have done. It explains why we believe in God. Like, who is God? What is the Trinity? What is the church? What is our relation to the church? How are laymen supposed to act? And it's not so much like an instruction guide, like this is what you do when you go to mass, but it explains what is the meaning behind these things that we do? Like, why do we do them? And it talks about this not just surface level, but diving into the actual theology of it all. So this book, I can tell you, it wasn't one of my textbooks in my classes, but I did use it a lot in my writings just because it just has so much information to it. Carl Keating actually wrote the back to this book. He is author of Catholicism and Fundamentalism, and also you may know him because of Catholic Answers. So this is one of my favorite books that I have on my shelf. I feel like I say that about all of my books on my bookshelf, but I have gone through my books many times because books are heavy. So when I'm bringing books back and forth from places, I'm really considering highly, do I really want to bring this book back and forth and back and forth? And I will admit, there's some books on my bookshelf that honestly probably would be better on someone else's shelf, not mine, but I'm keeping them because I'm a hoarder. Anyways, this is not one of those books. This is a book that I think everyone should have. The last book that I have to share with you guys today, it wouldn't be a That One Catholic Girl book haul or looking at my books if I don't include a Trent Horn book or if I don't mention him at least once. But I have Can a Catholic Be a Socialist by Trent Horn. The answer is no, and here's why. As you guys know, Trent Horn, one of my favorite authors. I love Catholic Answers. I love their ministry. I love what they do. I own, I think, 2 or 3 copies of this book, 1 digital, I believe, and then I think I have 2 hard copies. This book is great, especially right now that we're going into an election year in the United States and tensions are high and people are having dialogues, which is great. I love the fact that people are sitting down and talking. And even though a lot of the times we're just yelling at each other and we can't hear the other person because one of us is a little bit louder than the other, it's so great that we have the opportunity to have these dialogues. And so right now, the fact that people are arguing, although I think that a lot of people are arguing for evil things, I think it's great that people are able to engage with one another, and hopefully the truth will be received by the people who are not receiving it. But that's why books like this, Can a Catholic Be a Socialist, are so important, because it prepares us for understanding the other side. Those are my 5 other Catholic books on my bookshelf. If you guys are interested in any of these books, I'll have them linked down below in the description bar. Love you all, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!